All right. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Let me figure out what I'm doing here. Top of the evening to you. Having me a little protein drink this evening. There we go. There we go. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing this evening? The lighting's horrible. I'm sitting under. Maybe if I get back. Yeah, but then you can't hear me. It's starting to get dark here in Atlanta. Good evening, TikTok. Eddie Williams Sellers coming to you from. Good Lord, I scratched my arm, didn't I? I don't even know how I did that. Coming to you this evening from my dining room. I was going to go outside and soak in a tub and take a bath, and then I got sidetracked and wound up pulling some weeds and watering the yard. And then I thought, yeah, I'll soak it some other time. I think I'll stop and say hello to everybody. Ava's at rehearsal tonight. She's opening up in a place starting Friday night, and the first weekend's already sold out. So she was excited about that. And I told her, I said, I think I'm going to go on Friday night. Friday, September the 26th is my birthday. So I told her, I said, well, get me 3 tickets to that night, and maybe for my birthday night, Heather, can you pray for me, hon? I tell you what, you can't be letting people leaving you food in your mailbox to eat. But anyhow, but I told I had to go ahead and get my tickets for September the 26th if I want to go, because these plays sell out, So anyway, good evening, everybody. Hello, TikTok. I ain't been over on TikTok in quite a evening, quite a while. Good evening, Miss Kathy. Some of y'all that know that I've been getting over some stuff the last week or so. Abe and I was in New York a week ago, maybe. I forget when we was up there. We was up there for 2 days, and I tell you what's really surprised me, though. The week before that, we went down. Ava had one of her short films that she directed. She was the star of, actually, and it played at a little film festival in Macon. And Macon, I never had been really to downtown Macon or stayed in Macon, and so. We went down there and spent the weekend and just meandered around downtown and went to some event that was connected to the filming on Friday night and then Saturday night or something. And I did a few TikToks down there, and of all places, Macon, and just had tens of thousands of responses to people. A lot of people have strong feelings about Macon, Georgia, that I found out. People that had born there and hadn't been back in 40 years, they're like, oh, I'm just so tickled that you're in Macon, and, we walking around doing little lives of this and that and the other. And, and then I had somebody to comment today that she also was a trans woman that lived, not far from Macon, and it just gave her encouragement because it's real hard on her to date and just stuff like that. And so I got to thinking, maybe, of course, Ava stays so busy, and I'm busy too, but my business will wind up when the Key Roadhouse gets finished. And but I was thinking today, all I get done on TikTok is blopping creepy guys who send me obvious catfishing messages. Yeah. Yeah. You know what, Betty Smith over on Facebook, you know what? I get all day long, all on TikTok. The thing with TikTok, though, on Facebook now, I block them if they do. On TikTok, it's like, yeah, who cares, But I get all what I call these hoochie mamas. These women like, would you want to talk with me? ? I'm like, no, I don't want to talk. And then I'll look at their profile picture, some of them, and they'll just have nothing but their boobs all poked up in their picture, like they just wanting some sexy daddy. That's all out there. And, and my brother Richard Wayne had never been on Facebook, so this was 2 or 3 years ago. So he signed up on Facebook account. And he said, "Brother, you wouldn't believe it. I got all these beautiful, sexy young women friend requests to me." I said, "It's spam. They will destroy your Facebook page." Sure enough, about 2 or 3 weeks later, I said, "I don't see you on Facebook." He said, "I just got off there." So they just took over my Facebook page and said, "I can't even get back into it now." But anyway, I was thinking about the Macon experience we had, which was it was a little bit eye-opening for me to go to Macon, Georgia, spend a weekend, and then have, for whatever reason, just thousands of people, just really more so than New York or being in Savannah, or there was something unique about Macon. And so I was thinking today, if Ava and I ever get time, and we will, I was thinking it would be good. It would be kind of fun because I love small Southern towns. I realize Macon's not that small, but there's so many hundreds of little small Southern towns across the South that I thought that could be an interesting getaway. Go for her and I to go to little small Southern towns and just paint as they say, paint the town for the weekend. Her, a black female trans lady, me, an older Southern white gentleman, us in their town, people looking, this, you could see some of that. But in some way, I was thinking today, if we did do that, maybe some of us need to go visit those small towns and just go be there. And so anyhow, let me see what's going on over here. Hello, TikTok. Eddie William Sellers coming to you this evening with Boom Boom right here beside me from East Point, Georgia, in my dining room here this evening. Coming on to say hello to everybody. Hope everybody, yeah, I think so too, Betty. So anyhow, and I even thought about this. In the census on September the 11th, my dad, if he was alive, would be turned 97. He died when I was 12 and he was 42, I believe. He was backing out of his driveway in Texas, and a 16-year-old kid come flying over the hill drinking, hit him as he was backing out of the driveway and killed him right in front of his house. And I know that's a Debbie Downer thing. But when I researched some of his life, when the census was done, when he was 18, he had run away from Cabbagetown. He was a grown man, had left Cabbagetown, and he was living in a house on a little street in Laurel, Mississippi. And ever since I've seen that, and the little house is still standing there where he, as an 18-year-old boy, moved to Laurel, Mississippi. The rumors were he was running from what was considered the mob back then, or he got in some kind of trouble. He was trying to get out of Georgia. Rumors. And but I've told Ava, I'm like, at some point, I love New Orleans. Ava doesn't really. We've only been there one time with Ava. She wasn't that keen on New Orleans. We walked down by the casino on the river, just big rats running all over the sidewalk. She said, "Yeah, this ain't my cup of tea." But I love New Orleans. And so I told Ava, I said, at some point I want to go down to New Orleans for a few days, and maybe we stop and spend the night in Laurel, and just, I don't know about the rest of y'all. Well, of course I don't know about the rest of y'all because I don't know y'all. What kind of gobbledygook is that? It is where that hometown show was filmed at, Betty, and that couple down there. But my dad rented a house in Laurel, Mississippi, right off from the town square right there, in a little 2-bedroom little house. And so I'd like to go. And plus, I know Ava was in a play over in Spartanburg, South Carolina, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I forget how long it was. So I went over there and we had us a nice room right in that, just a little tiny downtown Spartanburg, South Carolina. And she had a theater group over there. She knew some of them lived around there. And the little downtown of Spartanburg was I loved it. I just thought it was so quaint and cute and beautiful. Good evening, everybody. So I want that to be on. Some people have a bucket list of going to Milan and Vienna and Paris. Well, I've been most of them places. My bucket list is I want to go down one weekend to Laurel, Mississippi. Eat me some pinto beans and fried chicken in a little store on the square right there and kind of walk around down the street where my dad lived as an 18-year-old boy one time. From Atlanta, I'm coming to you from Atlanta this evening over on TikTok, James, and I was born at Grady Hospital right downtown in downtown Atlanta. And so yeah, just coming to y'all from Atlanta, just sitting in my dining room. I ain't got nothing important to say. I ain't got no big blow you away insight into life and you know, and gonna tell you anything that's gonna wake you up and make you be a new creature before this over. I'm just sitting here drinking me. I have to be careful to take an Atkins, a dark chocolate royal protein shake that's got 15 grams of protein in it. It's 160 calories, but has 1 gram of sugar. That's 0 sugar, basically. So anyway, I will. Ava will be home. Such a lady. I like it. A Grady baby. I am a Grady baby. I love Atlanta too. I mean, y'all. Not to be just a homie and brag so much about Atlanta. I've seen a lot of the most beautiful places in the world. But man, I love Atlanta. I just find Atlanta so beautiful and southern and big and inclusive. And they say per capita, Atlanta, city of Atlanta has more, a bigger homosexual community than San Francisco does as far as per capita. And I love all that diversity and stuff. Hey there, Jackson. Sitting here, just nothing to do. Ava's gone, won't be home about 11 o'clock, and I'm sitting at my dining room table looking into my little phone and computer and saying hey to people. I did. Wendy, I grew up in Atlanta, born at Grady Hospital, lived in Cabbagetown, which you could walk to Grady Hospital from Cabbagetown, you know. And it was kind of weird. You know, years ago, everything used to be downtown. Like Atlanta had Beaudry Ford, like car dealerships in downtown Atlanta on Piedmont Avenue. You go downtown to buy a car or have heart surgery. Everything was there. You know, now Atlanta spread all out. People live way out in Johns Creek and Alpharetta still say, yeah, we're from Atlanta. No, you're not. You ain't from, you're 50 miles up the road at Alpharetta. That's where you're from. So, but anyway, y'all, thank y'all for the hearts and the likes and all that other stuff over here on TikTok. I don't get on here and try to tell people to join and follow and I don't care if you join, if you follow, whatever you do, just do what you want to do. I just mainly like to use TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and now Substack. I know that Rosie O'Donnell, she's big on the Substack now. I just like to use it. It's just amazing to me how that you can be sitting in your truck at Home Depot or you can be sitting right here at the dining room. Do I have a favorite restaurant in Atlanta? I go through, you know what, Wendy, I go through phases. I don't have any restaurant that's I've been going there for 30 years. It's always been, no. I have a favorite restaurant about every year. And right now, uh, my favorite restaurant when I do want to go grab something to eat is a little Mexican restaurant over in Hateville. Hateville's just a mile, 2 miles up the road from where Ava and I live, in a little rundown shopping center, but it's right across the street from the Porsche Atlanta thing, where the Porsche headquarters of the U.S. is right there, and it's right there, and they got the track you can drive the Porsches right across the street, a little rundown shopping center in a place called Sombreros. You can tell it's family owned or whatever. Oh my God, I just love their food. That's my favorite place. Like if Ava was here tonight and said, let's go get a bite to eat, I'm like, oh, let's go to Sombreros. But it's Mexican. And and then when I lived at Grant Park, there's a place at Grant Park called Grant Central, and Margaret Kaiser was the state representative. Her and her husband own it. He died 4 or 5 years ago. And there's a Grant Central in East Atlanta too, but Margaret, such a sweet, sweet lady. And but for I guess if somebody had to force me to say my favorite, the place I eat at the most over the last 20 years, probably Grant Central over by Grant Park. Yes, Miss Marlis, you did catch me live. Good evening to you. I'm just telling people I come on here just to worry them. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm sitting here having me a Atkins protein drink and just talking. But I will tell y'all this about a favorite restaurant. Some of you people that don't live in or around Atlanta, man, Atlanta has so many, many layers of places to eat everywhere, from Alpharetta to Fairman. I mean, there's good places to eat everywhere. And now, especially in Southeast Atlanta, around Cabbagetown and Grant Park and East Atlanta and all, up and down Memorial, just places to eat everywhere. If you want barbecue, get some of the best barbecue in the world. Want pizza? Some of the best pizza you can find anywhere. Want Southern cooking? You can go to the Colonnade or Mary Mac's or just they're just, and to me, I have to watch it. Evidently, here lately, I've gained a little weight. I ain't been watching it too much. But man, you set me down a bowl of chicken and dumplings or a piece of cornbread with some lima beans and a slice of meatloaf, and good Lord, I love Southern cooking, Yes. Yeah, my eyes, y'all had an eyelid surgery 3-4 weeks ago. And man, my face has been so bruised up or whatever, but they have all the bruising is just about gone. And Atlanta does, Velo. Atlanta has a lot of good places to eat. Oh my goodness, y'all. Y'all, we got this other person on TikTok saying Jesus is king, repent. A life of sin is a death sentence. I guess I could go in there and delete people like that or block them or something like that. It's mental illness, y'all. That's all it is mental illness. I'm not saying that to be a follower of Christ. I consider myself a follower of Christ, but I also consider myself a follower of Dr. Maya Angelou. Consider myself a follower of great writers and poets. But for somebody to go on somebody's page and do all the repent or go stand in a parking lot at Walmart and scream at people, cars driving by, to me, it's just mental illness, and you just got to have compassion for people like that. It's just mental illness, y'all, thank y'all. And I was raised up with a family of people that had what we called some slipping, some slipping. I remember one time, maybe it was in my 30s or 40s, and I was in the doctor's office, and the doctor was asking me, going through the list, do you any heart disease, any diabetes in your family, doing that family history. And he got to the point, he said, was there any mental illness in your family? And I'm like, the better question would be, was there anybody who didn't have mental illness in my family? And I just busted out laughing. He did too. He said, "Oh, you come from one of them families?" I'm like, "Yeah, they all sat out on the front porch." You know, but anyway, y'all, I want to go to Laurel, Mississippi, and see the house where my dad lived when he was 18. I think I want to do that before the year's over. And I don't know about some of y'all, but for me, if I was down, had to go down to Conyers back a few weeks ago, and you know, and I'm by myself, and I'm thinking, you know what? Since I'm down here, I want to ride by my Aunt Betty Carter's house where she used to live, and I lived with her when I was 14, 15 years old. So I want to ride up Booth Road over here by Parker's Lake and just ride by Betty's. I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that. I think I have those moments where that it just kind of does it. It lets me step back just for seconds in time and just like be there. And so yeah, that's the thing about maybe going to Laurel and seeing the house that my dad. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, y'all. I'm sorry I'm missing all these comments, y'all. I'm a rambler and a babbler myself. My birthday is September the 26th, more or less. Exactly. Let me see right here. It sounds like you're one of the good Southern guys, because I think I am. But boy, ain't they some real humdingers and Southern people, you know. But anyway, I've even kind of changed my mind on cemeteries. I very much understand why, because I've decided I want to be cremated. I want my ashes put in no cemetery. Me and my kids, well, you know, to each his own. But I very much understand why people will go sit by a graveside of somebody that they really was close to or loved. You follow Tom Petty, you know, Betty, because there's something about a point of contact or an energy or something like that you know, even in houses, you got these people that'll go in there and take and burn sage and say prayers, or try to change the energy flow of the house, or make sure there's good energy in the house. And yeah, it is something, isn't it? You sent a card to A1 Printing. Yeah, well, good. I'll look for it, Marlis. Yeah. Y'all, I mean, I could take a few minutes and talk about politics, but my God, good Lord, we got National Guard troops in D.C. now. You know, now they're all outraged. This death that happened on the train system in Charlotte, supposedly sending the National Guard into Chicago. It's just, you know, the job market now, come to find out the job market's a lot more horrible than anybody ever dreamed it was. House prices, it's a buyer's market in Atlanta now. House prices have plummeted, and there's a lot more houses that's sitting there. People ain't really buying up houses like there was. And I got one of them about to put on the market here in a few months. And yeah, enough of the negativity. I hear you, Rita. That's what I'm saying. I could come on here and talk about, you know, that, but you know what? I'd rather talk about going to Laurel, Mississippi one night and seeing the house where my daddy lived. It's kind of yeah. Well, good Lord, Marlis, I can't wait to see it now. I hope I get it. Said you will love this card. I made it for you. Good heavens, that's so sweet. Yeah, so my thing is, I think at this point is maybe when I do exert some energy toward any of that, is to try to encourage people. But not put our head in the sand and be naive and dumb to what's going on also, because we're living through history. We're living through these times. These are some very peerless, dark times we're living through. And then on top of that, y'all, we all have bills we have to pay. We have to pay lots of bills. And I was telling a neighbor yesterday, I stopped by CVS and got if I had it in a little bitty bag of cough drops, that Ricola or something cough drops, ain't but like 20 little cough drops in the little thing, $4 for the little bag. My God, have y'all been into the grocery stores? You know, just everything is so expensive. And so we've got to worry about all that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything's just so expensive. And then we worried about, well, hell, the country seems like it's done collapsed and we don't even know America no more. You know, these people that's running DC up there today nowadays, we don't, who knew? I think most of us that was a part of the campaign realized that we don't need to go down this road. But now that we're down this road, I guess we just keep going on down the road and see how it all plays out at some point. So, but anyway, everybody, I just come on here to be on here for a few minutes and say hello to you. I hope your families are okay. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I hope, I don't know of anybody that ain't going through something. I hope whatever you may be going through, good Lord, you just keep on getting it and getting her done, you know. I'm glad I live in Illinois. Our governor is going to fight for us. Yeah, you live up there, Marlis, in Illinois. Yeah, I like him, you know, your governor. And yes, you know, the thing about it is, could y'all think about this for a minute, how much things are changing, how hypocritical everything is. Could y'all imagine if Barack Obama, President Obama, had decided unilaterally, without any input from anybody, he was going to send the National Guard into Nashville, Tennessee, into the heart of Tennessee, and take over Nashville? Could y'all imagine all them folks in Tennessee, how outraged they would have had a whatever? Could y'all imagine that? He's going to fight for that last drumstick at the buffet. Yeah. Thank you there, Rita. Rita says she always enjoys my talks. Hey, Sylvia. Yeah. So, but could y'all imagine if Barack Obama had sent the National Guard into Nashville? You know, so Trump wants to send the National Guard in, you know, he's in D.C. You know, they say that the tourism has really dropped a lot since he did that. Now, restaurants up there that's on very slim margins to stay open anyhow, now where's their customers at? People don't want to go sit and eat dinner somewhere where the National Guard's walking around, you know, and the hypocrisy is deafening, isn't it, y'all? I mean, I don't know about some of y'all, but I was always raised up in the church, around church folks in the South, around Christian people. Some of my best buddies pastored Baptist churches. We'd get up. Brother Wayne Gooch, from pastor of Bolton Road Baptist Church, he'd come by and pick me up in his truck and have his little bass boat on the back. Me and him, my cousin Danny and Tommy, we'd be down at Lake Oconee at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's sitting out there with our thermos of coffee and bass fishing. And we talked about, you know, hypocrites back then. You know, they preach about it like, you know what, don't be a hypocrite. If you're going to live for Christ, live wholesome and holy and walk upright. Don't be a hypocrite. You know, hypocrite. That's why when you found a preacher screwing some lady in the church, and he got up there and preached for years about, you know, what a sin it was to commit adultery, and he's out here screwing the Sunday school teacher, people would be like, that ain't nothing but a hypocrite. Ain't nothing but a hypocrite. If you go back in time and look over the last 20 years, and you look over the last 20 years, that all the MAGA crowd used to be so outraged about, the price of eggs, just outraged. And then look at them now. What hypocrites, y'all. I mean, what hypocrites? It's weird. It's weird to me. And, and the thing about the MAGA crowd, that used to be the moral majority crowd. The MAGA crowd's been around forever. It was the same people that stood on the Edmund Pettus Bridge over in Selma that turned them dogs loose on people. They've had their place down through history, and now it's the MAGAs. And so they was the moral majority. Anita Bryant, she would be MAGA. She'd be what's considered Jerry Falwell. That's MAGA. Some of you people don't even know who that is, but he was the head of the moral majority. And they were just so outraged, if a politician had an affair somewhere, oh no, he can't never lead people. He's not a good man. He had an affair. Then they all come under the umbrella of Donald Trump. And it's so hypocritical, isn't it? It just, my brain, when I tried to just untangle how in the world these quote unquote Christian Christ followers could take a man as unseemly as Donald Trump and say, yeah, I voted for him. And not only did I love that man. I love him. I'm like, so there's some mental illness involved in that. Good Lord. James Dodson, focused on the family. Betty said, old Captain Bone Spurs Trump, AKC draft dodger in chief, sure likes to flex military. Don't he like to flex military muscle? Maybe the troops will revolt and uphold the Constitution rather than the tangerine tyrant. And James Dodson, enough's been said about him. And Jimmy Swaggart died a while back too, And y'all think about this in just, if I'm just really trying to be serious with this. Hey, Julia, I'm just talking about all kind of stuff. Y'all think about this though. If I'm just being serious for a moment, without just scattered all over. Some people leave this earth and people feel a loss. People sense a loss when they leave this earth. And I'll just give you a couple of examples recently, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Congressman John Lewis, who is my congressman right here in East Point, Georgia. When I drive to my shop on A1 Blueprint, at A1 Blueprint right over here on Boulevard, I drive by right there on Lakewood Avenue where he's buried, the grave of John Lewis. And so when he died, we knew we'd lost something because he'd been a voice for 50 years about everybody needs to be treated with liberty and kindness and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you, there's other prominent people that when they die, the world is a better place. The world became a better place when they took their last breath. And not to put any names out there, you probably have your list. I probably have my list. But the world became better when they actually got their energy and soul and spirit out of this realm. Because they did a lot of injuries and damage to people, And so I'll just say that in response to all the people that railed against gays being in the church and trying to hide under the cross of Christ. The world was better when they died. The world became better the moment they died. Their voice was a negative force while they lived, And so anyway, enough of that already. Like Rita tried to tell me, say, Eddie, don't go all negative on us tonight. My buddy Sammy, that was my lifelong friend. If me and him and John ever got to talking a little bit, and one of us started getting a little negative, like I'm sick of that job and I don't want to work there no more and this and that and that. Sammy, he would always just interrupt at some point. He said, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. And that was his way to just try to take the conversation back away from that. But let's talk about something happy, So, But anyway, everybody, I'm going to get off of here. Yeah. So there's a long list that we could go down that the world became a better place when I do. Betty says Europe in the 1930s all over again. I'm a history buff. I love I watch documentaries still about Hitler and different. I love it, just the historical part of all of it. And I just know that I turned 70 on the 26th of September, and I've been very active politically since I was 18. I've never seen America here, and this is different this time, and I don't know what the future holds. None of us does, but I know this: there's not going to be no Democratic Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or any of the other ones or Bernie Sanders. None of them's going to come riding in on a Democratic white horse and take us back what it was like to have been under President Obama again. Y'all, I think that part of our nation's gone. We're never going to be that again. The Paul said in the scripture, he says, it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we shall be like him. And I'm just using that context when he's saying we don't know what we'll be when we die or where we go when we die. I said it doesn't appear we don't know that, but we will be like him. And well, if we're like him, he got up out of the grave and walked around Jerusalem and opened up other graves that night. But anyhow, we don't know what the future of our country is going to look like. We don't know if we're going to have a J.D. Vance 4 years from now. We don't know if we're going to have a third Donald Trump term where they're just going to burn the Constitution, just let him stay president. But we do know this, that we're not going to elect a Democrat and go back to the way we were before this. The country's forever changed. It's never, ever going to go back and be the way it used to be. We've got to figure out a new way forward and how we're gonna deal with that. Maybe we had to crash it, burn it, break it, and somehow out of all that we become a better nation. So, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Rita says, I say it regularly, Eddie. Never saw anything like this in my life. I'm 70 as well, Yeah, Betty, like on Facebook, the damage is done now. The damage is done. To me, what MAGA has done as a landlord, I've been a landlord for 40 years. I've had rental houses. Thank God. Well, I'm almost done with that now. But it's almost like MAGA is the tenant that you rented the house to, and you went by to check on your house, and they took a hammer and busted out all the doors and windows, tore up everything, and then set it on fire that's where we're at as a country right now. Donald Trump is a burning fire that's destroying everything this country spent 200-something years trying to build. And I know his people, and some of you on here that follow me, some of my family on here that voted for him. I know some of you people like, I just don't even see how you see all that. He's done so much good for the country. He's not what you say. He's this and the other. That's our problem. People believe that. They believe that he's even a Christian. They believe that Donald Trump accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior. Some of y'all people that know different, is that not hilariously tormenting to think that people think Donald Trump accepted Jesus as his Lord and Savior? Yeah, I agree with you, Marlis. So, but anyhow, happy thoughts. But anyhow, y'all, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, when I turn 70 on the 26th, I'm trying to figure out, am I bothered by it, or am I so damn glad to be alive at 70 that I'm not bothered by it? I mean, it's obvious for those of a lot of you people, like Sherman burned Atlanta. A lot of you people that's in my age category. Well, I mean, the thing about it is, people's like, well, age is just a number. No, it's not. Every day, people in our age category, we look in the mirror and we're like, my Lord, look at the wrinkles, look at the bags, look at the muscle loss. I mean, aging is an actual thing. I don't know if I don't like it. I mean, I'd like life. If you're going to live a long life, you're going to age. So I don't know. Sometimes I wonder, do I dwell on 70 too much? And do I write about aging too much? Do I acknowledge? I like to acknowledge it. If there was, if I had the C word in my body somewhere, I'd like to acknowledge it, talk about it, see what's going on with it. The age thing stares us in the face every single morning when we get up. I know every morning I have this thing where every morning I get up, get out of bed, I go in the bathroom, and I pee. Are you supposed to tell people your business? But here's the other thing. Now that I've said that I love. I know so many people that have to get up during the night to pee. Here I am about to turn 70. I do not get up in the night to pee. My kidneys, bladder, whatever that function is, it holds until the morning. Isn't that wonderful? But anyhow, I have this thing after I pee, I run the water in the sink, make sure it gets good and hot, get me a rag, because my face feels all sleep swollen when I wake up. And I know in a couple hours, I'm going to read a video and things. So I go ahead and I get a wash rag really hot, and I lay it over my eyes and face just to wake my morning up, but also just to kind of make me not look so, like I'm just crawling out of bed. My eyes is all puffy and not look good. So I put a warm rag over my face, brush my teeth, and go set out. Well, this time of year, I sat outside and just kind of about that time, it's about starting to get daybreak. But I don't know if I'm bothered by turning 70 or not. I think I'm joyful in the fact that, my God, I've lived this long. How can I find fault with living this long? No matter if the eyes need an operation and the cataracts had to be taken off and God knows what else have I had done. So, but anyhow, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Good night, everybody. I just want to come on and say hello, mainly because I'm bored. Y'all the only friends I got. Y'all do seem like some friends. Y'all are some friends. I've had people on Facebook over the years that I've been friends with on Facebook, and then I'd see on their page where they died, and I went out and sat in my yard and cried over them. I'm like, oh no, she didn't. Because we kind of can get somewhat attachments to people. Thank y'all for the hearts, the gifts, the hellos, the joins. I'm out of here, y'all. Let's go find something on Netflix to watch. See y'all. Let me get out of here. If not, I'll just keep rambling and babbling. And good Lord.